All right, how about with noise this time? Faiza, hello, welcome. Hello and welcome to the stream. My name is Dr. Rachel Tatman, and my stream is for anybody who cares about language technology and other people. And today we're going to be talking about, well, probably, other people slightly more than language technology, but still. We're going to be doing a little bit of analysis of the Kaggle 2022 survey responses. So, for those of you who are not familiar, should catch up in just a sec. For those of you who are not familiar with Kaggle, it is a machine learning website, probably best known for running competitions, but there's also, some code hosting and dataset hosting. And also, for those of you who don't know, I used to work there. So, perhaps that is where you know me from. I am, in fact, Rachel from Kaggle, as people have pointed out in the past. And actually, starting while I worked there, in 2017, they ran the Kaggle Data Science Survey for the first time. So I'll pop this open in a new tab. And basically, what the survey is it, you know what, I'm gonna move myself to the other side to give you a better view of what we're talking about. So the survey itself is a survey that goes out to all of Kaggle's user base, which are mainly, I would say, just sort of based on my general impression, there's a little bit more coverage of machine learning engineers than like data scientists these days. But it's their 6th annual one. So this is the information about the survey that was presented at Next, I think. Yep, Next 2022, which was earlier this month. They had 23,000 respondents, about 43 questions, and pretty good geographic coverage. And I figure we can start by going through the executive summary and then do our own analysis. Faiza wants to know why I quit Raza. Well, I mean, I wanted to try doing this for a little bit, right? It's something I've wanted to do for a while, and the time just felt right. So, yeah, a very short answer, that's why. Kaggle itself has 10 million data scientists, and again, I would say that it's, given the way that sort of data science has become a little bit more narrowly defined to be on the analytics side than on the, machine learning engineering side, I would say that maybe not. Again, I haven't been on the platform professionally for a while, but probably a little bit of a shift in terms of what people would call themselves. Hey, Robbie. 300 plus machine learning competitions, probably what most people know Kaggle for, a bunch of public data sets, and a bunch of public notebooks. So like Jupyter notebooks, hosted Jupyter notebooks. Basically, here's the survey data. And just some various things about the survey participants. First of all, no surprise, we continue to have the same sort of issue with gender balance that we have in the field for a while. And again, Kaggle is, Kaggle is a sample of the field. It is not the whole field, but of the Kaggle respondents. We got about, 4 men to every woman, and then a very small percentage of people who prefer to self-describe. And then this was particularly interesting to me. So this is the location of the respondents. And here, this sort of third from the right, you can see a huge increase. I would say that's like linear, of folks in India who are getting into data science, which tracks with my particular experience. A little bit of a lift in Japan as well. Also looks like there's, for a lot of places, a little bit of a bump in 2022, particularly Canada and Japan. And then interestingly, a really steep drop in folks from the US that reversed in 2022. So again, these are respondents to this particular survey for this particular platform. It doesn't necessarily represent everybody who's doing data science, but folks are just chatting in the chat. That's great. That's what it's for. And then for languages, a drop off for all of the C-like languages. increase in SQL, Python's pretty much flat, decrease in R, which again, like I said, I think there is this, there's been sort of a shift in Kaggle where, you know, fewer and fewer people who are more on the analytics side are involved in it, and more people who are more on the machine learning side are doing it, which R is more of a language for analytics than it is for machine learning engineering, so not surprising. And also just there's been a bunch of platform decisions that deprioritize R as the language that a Kaggle user would learn by default. So again, I think I can't necessarily say there's causation, but I'm not surprised to see the pattern, you know? I believe at one point in the distant past, when you started a Kaggle notebook, it was actually R by default. Clearly not the case now. And then preferred, you know, platform for working data scientists. No one is using MATLAB if they possibly can, which not a super big surprise for me. Visual Studio is seeing a big jump, and I believe that Visual Studio started supporting Jupyter notebooks. They had a demo of it at PyCon 2019. Is that the one that was in Ohio? Let's see. I believe that was PyCon 2019, and they were still, yes, May 2019, they had the demo of it. So I'm guessing that in 2020, which is the third one here where we start to see an uptick, is when it was in GA, general access, so most people could use it. And I think that's the point at which we see the change in this. So most folks like Visual Studio, and once it started hosting Jupyter Notebooks, we saw a big lift in use, which looks like actually parallels the lift in use of Jupyter Notebooks in general. PyCharm going down, which is not shocking to me, because it was only in 2021, I think, that the data science version of it started. What's it called? It's data spell, right? So I would imagine that the PyCharm usage would drop off because data spell is a thing now. I'm just going to double check that that is the right name, because sometimes I do it wrong. Yeah, so I believe that JetBrains develops both PyCharm and DataSpell, and I would imagine if you're doing data science, you would prefer to use DataSpell, the custom-built environment, rather than PyCharm, the sort of general programming environment. RStudio use is dropping. Again, I think that's a sampling thing. I don't necessarily know that RStudio is less used overall. I will say that RStudio this year is also beginning to focus on multi-language support for multi-languages, right? As you might guess. And they've also changed the name of the company to Posit to sort of reflect that broader focus. So I'm interested to see where that goes as well. All right. Robbie says Fleet is free. I'm not familiar with Fleet. Is that or I should say, yeah, the JetBrains stuff is not cheap, I would say. Okay, so Fleet is also by JetBrains and is free. Okay, DataSpell and PyCharm believe are both not free, but if you're using them for educational use, there's like a limited license. And yeah, so for hosted environments, it looks like Colab overtook Kaggle in 2020. Yeah, that looks right. Actually, the year I left Kaggle. I'm sure that's a coincidence. I don't think there's anything causative there. And I think, at least when I've talked to people, the sort of benefit of Colab over Kaggle is, you know, data privacy and considerations. And also, I think it was at one point, you could accelerate a Colab notebook by like paying for compute, but you couldn't do that on Kaggle, and now you can do that on Kaggle. So DataSpell is paid. Yeah. Yep. Aw, he says, I missed the time when I did live coding projects because it's fun to learn from me. Well, thank you. Well, we are going to get to coding today. I just don't want to make a chart that's already been made, you know? Efficiency. And then just sort of general frameworks. little lift in PyTorch, which does not surprise me. They've been doing a lot of really nice quality of life features recently. And of course, FastAI uses PyTorch, which is a really great educational resource. XGBoost, hold and steady, TensorFlow sort of declining. And I think that's sort of the general ethos, is that, you know, I think more people still use TensorFlow than PyTorch, but there's sort of a preference shift. And of course, everybody uses scikit-learn. We know that. Waiting for the day I do machine learning project. I do have a couple things actually that I've been thinking about, but I also, just so you'll know, I have a couple of contracts that are going on right now. So I'm teaching 2 classes, one at the University of Michigan and one at the University of Washington. So my time is a little bit more limited, unfortunately. People are using transformers to a greater degree. I really feel like this chart should go to 100, but so we've seen a rough doubling in the amount of people who are I guess using this from 2019 to 2022, which again, no surprise there. And then for cloud, we're seeing growth everywhere. Big bump in GCP this year. Also a little bit of a bump in AWS, and then Azure, not quite so much. Personally, I've used GCP the most. I mean, partially because I used to work at Google. Personally, if I were picking a platform just for myself and my own work, I think I'd probably go with Azure. And I would under no circumstance give AWS a credit card that I personally was liable for. Absolutely not. Famously labyrinthine and sort of, you know, user hostile billing. Yeah. What am I teaching? Oh, so at the University of Michigan, I'm one of the instructors for the capstone project course for people who are finishing their data science masters at the iSchool. And then at the University of Washington, I'm teaching ethics and machine learning. I'm kind of considering maybe posting my syllabus/reading list for that, if that would be interesting to people. Not ethics and machine learning, sorry, ethics and NLP. And then a lot of traction with TPUs, with, you know, more traction, I would say, of TPUs with Kaggle folks, which is not surprising. Kaggle's been, you know, pushing the TPUs. They're integrated with Kaggle notebooks. You know, there's obviously Kaggle is owned by Google, so there's a pretty strong, like, organizational pressure to be like, they're great, you should use them. And that's all the data that's already been done. So I don't want to, again, go through and do a bunch of charts that have already been done, but that's what's been looked at. So let's get to doing a little bit of live coding. Mohammed said it would be great. Oh, so if I posted the ethics syllabus? Okay, yeah, I'll do that. I will say I'm trying to make it very relevant to the students. So it will be finished when the class is finished, because I'm doing it a couple weeks ahead and then adjusting as needs come up. But yeah, I'll post that on my website once it's done. I don't know if I showed you, but I do have a Kaggle water bottle that I think I got while I was still working there. I think this was from the last offsite I went to. All right, let's hop into it. So I actually haven't even accepted the code yet, so let's do that. And let's get going. And I will say I did post that I was doing this on the forum, so this shouldn't be unfair, because this is a competition, and it's a data analysis competition, and there is $30,000 of prize money. So if you're interested in joining, FYI, I may or may not actually submit something. Probably not. It feels a little bit unfair, you know? But all right, so we've got 43 questions, 23,000 responses, and we have a PDF of the methodology. We have a PDF of the answer choices, and then we have, of course, the data itself. So I'm just gonna scroll for a little bit. And obviously my screen is a little bit smaller in terms of total space, so that the font is bigger so you guys can see a little bit better. But that does mean that it's a little bit harder to deal with this kind of thing. And you can't get rid of the sidebar, right? You can get rid of the sidebar. Okay, that's nice. Much better. So we've got 296 columns, so it's pretty wide, and it looks like each respondent is a row, and then each column is a question, and it looks like the first row of the column, the first row of each column is the text of the question, which is nice, but means that we're going to have to keep that in mind when we start messing with the data. So you've got information about how long it took them to complete the survey, their age, their gender, and this included, of course, prefer not to say, or I believe self-provided as well, which country you currently reside in, whether or not you're currently a student, courses that people have used, if people selected multiple. Okay, so this was a multiple choice question, and each choice is a separate column. All right, so this is a tidy data structure. It's not got one with sort of embedded multiple features. So we've got Coursera, edX, Kaggle Learn courses, which obviously run by Kaggle. Trying to stay near the top so I can actually see the text of the questions. Data camp, not something that I would recommend, data camp, due to pretty big organizational problems that have not been resolved to my satisfaction. Let me put it that way. Yeah. All right. Yeah, just that top one is a row. All right. Oh, interesting. So they ask about begun or completed data science courses. So we don't necessarily know about the completion rate of any of these courses, just that people have started them. All right, let's kick up a new notebook, and I do want it to be in R. So how do we do that? Because I don't think it's going to start in R. Yeah, it definitely started in Python, code markdown, blah, blah, blah. It's been a minute since I used a Kaggle notebook. Actually, I say that it's only been, hasn't been that long. Has not been that long. Settings, maybe? Yeah, there we go. Rachel, why are you using R? I have a strong preference for R for working with tabular data because of the ability to use the tidyverse family of packages, which are just really nice quality of life features, right? Just makes things significantly easier for me. Well, that's, maybe this happened because I clicked in it, but it did keep the code in Python in that first, nope. In that first cell. And let me title this something helpful. What is it? October 18th. 10/18/2022. So if I happen to, share this, then people will know why there's not a whole lot of discussion about what is going on and what I'm doing. All right. So I've loaded in the tidyverse package, and I'm just going to double check. Okay, yeah, excellent. So janitor is available, but not in the namespace, which is perfectly fine, because I think I am going to need it looking at this data. Huh. Oh, that's the output directory. Okay. I would kind of expect, sorry, this is just product feedback. I would kind of expect not to see a drop-down arrow unless there's something in this folder, because it makes it look like there should be something and I'm just not seeing it. And it makes me feel like something's broken, but it looks like by default, all folders have that. Oh, sorry, I can't, I can't turn off the product feedback, no matter how hard I try. And I'm going to call this survey data underscore CSV. So we get a tibble, and I have hit carriage return when I did not mean to. All right. So it's going to take just a second. Oh, right. Also, it's a file path, so it should be in quotes. Let's write the code right and not write the code wrong. We all prefer to do that, hopefully. All right, so that looks good. What are some questions I have given the data, right? I actually really want to quickly check, I think, the answer choices. Ooh, that's nice. Oh, I like that. So I clicked on the little PDF over here, and I got a little PDF viewer. Isn't that nice? This feels like something that might be a little bit broken in Firefox. I'm currently using Chrome, which I don't usually do for my my live streams. I usually use Edge for my live streams and Firefox for like using the internet as I usually do. But Google stuff tends to work a little bit better on Chrome in general. Like, no shade to the software engineers. I know that cross-browser compatibility is so hard, but I often run into things that only work on Chrome, and this feels like one of those things that might potentially be one of them. All right, so just gonna look through here, look at some of these questions and see if I have anything that I wanna learn about this. So this is usually what I'll do when I get started on a project, particularly survey data, is I'll go and I'll read the survey and see if there's anything that really strikes me, usually a question or two questions that I want sort of the marginal results on. So let's do it. Faisal says, have mercy for people like me who only do Python. Nar says, no, do it, Nar. You could do this exact same thing with Python. As much as possible, I'll try to like talk about what the equivalent pandas thing is. The problem with pandas is that pandas is basically a re-implementation of the base R functionality. So a lot of the tidyverse specific stuff, which is gonna, if you're familiar with SQL, it's gonna feel a little bit more like SQL than pandas does. Doesn't have an equivalent in Python that I know about. And if some of you know of an equivalent of like dbplyr or dplyr in Python and you're not telling me, I will never forgive you. I want to know about that. If you know about it, I would forgive you. It's perfectly fine. All right, so, oh, that's interesting. So people, here's what they tried and here's what they find most useful. So I think that that would be really interesting. So I'm just gonna start a little section here. Is this marked down? This is marked down. What did people try versus what did they find most helpful for educational resources? And obviously this is interesting to me because I am an educator, right? I'm doing this. I currently do university courses that I'm teaching. So I want to know, can I make this bigger? I can. Can I make that go away? I cannot. Can I go sideways? What if I click and drag? No, I can't. Okay. So I think that's the biggest I can make this text, unfortunately. Highest level of formal education that you plan to attain within the next 2 years. That is, excuse me, that is a little bit of a weird question. So you'd capture people who are starting their master's but not starting their PhD. I would probably have just said, like, in the past, what's the highest you've done? Because this doesn't tell you if people are in a master's program or not, right? Like, there's no difference between I'm entering a master's program now or I finished my master's 10 years ago, given this text of the question. I'd probably have rewritten that. Have you ever published any academic research? Oh, that's interesting. And did your research use machine learning? So I think those are some questions that are very interesting to me. So, ooh, I should also write down, just for my health and sanity, what the questions are. So Q6 and Q7. Oh, that's right. The data's wide. We're going to get some, okay, we're going to have to wrangle it a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, so this was Q6. And this was Q7. And then the next thing was looking at research on ML, question mark. I guess I only need to do the second one, right? And I can use the the answer to Q9 just to filter the responses to Q10, right? All right, Q9. All right, Q10. And I would expect that there are going to be more foundational researchers on machine learning on Kaggle than there are just sort of in a general population survey, if I had to guess. How many years have you been writing code? What programming languages do you use on a regular basis? Which IDEs do you use? So all of these were covered in the survey results that they talked about at Next. So I'm not really going to go into those. They haven't done. Which of these following notebook products do you use? It's a fair number of notebook products. Oh, they have Hex. Yeah, I haven't heard anything from the Hex team recently, but they were doing some sort of interesting stuff last time I talked to them. Data visualization libraries. How many years have you used machine learning methods? So this is also interesting to me. So Q16, because this is sort of a proxy for seniority in the field. Years using ML methods. Q16, because I think there might also be a relationship between, you know, having done research on machine learning and years using machine learning methods. No. There we go. And there's no question about sort of amount of time in technology in general. So this may be, you know, it's a proxy for seniority, but someone who's been a software engineer for 20 years and is just learning machine learning might say like 1 to 2 years, even though they've been doing related work for much longer. So ML frameworks, I don't really care. Algorithms, I don't really care. Computer vision, also do not care. Oh, okay, here we go. Which of the following methods do you use on a regular basis? Interesting. That is quite the grab bag of methods. So word embeddings or vectors. I guess that's a method, yeah. Encoder decoder models, contextualized embeddings, and transformer language models. So I would call these all sort of I mean, technically transformers are encoder decoder models, although GPT, BERT, and XLNet in particular are all just encoder models. They don't have the decoder. Although definitely some transformer language models, some transformer models do use the decoder architecture as well. I'm trying to remember where I've seen that recently. It might have been with a multilingual model, where they did both the encoder and decoder usage, potentially. Ooh, Ravi says Siuba for Python, S-I-U-B-A. Interesting. All right, okay, so it's a port. Let's it's a port of dplyr, tidyr, and the R-tidyverse libraries. Okay, this could make using using Python feasible for me for doing tabular data analysis. Let me just check the key features. All right, and then it looks like dplython is another option as well. Oh, pipe syntax. Love a pipe syntax. I know you can do pipes in Python. It is a huge pain in the ass compared to pipes in R. Trust me. Okay. Cool. I'll save that for later. Thank you, Ravi. Maybe I'll do a whole live coding on that. That would be a fun thing to do, right? I think that would be interesting. All right, downloading pre-trained model weight. So Q20 was the NLP question. NLP, I'm gonna call those representations because they're not really, it's not a good representation of, what was this, NLP methods, right? And they're not super equivalent. I don't know how, yeah, it looks like it's a little bit of a grab bag for the computer vision stuff as well. They're not super equivalent, right? Like encoder decoder models is like a general family of model architectures, whereas word embeddings and word vectors are a type of data representation. Contextualized embeddings are also a data representation that are a subset of word embeddings, but here they're represented as like a separate thing. And then transformer language models are, again, even though language modeling itself is a task, these are usually used as a representation. So a little bit non-parallel answers, and I'm particularly interested to see this other, right? And I would have written the question differently, but I didn't write the survey now, did I? So yeah, NLP representations question. That was 20. Because I don't really want all the data. I don't really want all the answers, right? I don't really want to look at all the questions. Today, I think that is too much information. All right. Oh, titles. This I'm particularly interested in. So what are people doing for work? Job titles. Because again, I have a background in social science. I'm really interested in changes in fields over time and sort of the ways that they come to, we are currently working on coming to a, towards a consensus of what different job titles mean, right? Having worked in multiple jobs where the job title is becoming crystallized, right? Because I'm trying to remember what my job title was when I first started at Kaggle. I think it might have been like data something. It was kind of a non-typical job title. It might have been data analyst possibly, or like data set analyst or something. I don't remember. And then my job title for a while was developer advocate. And right now I call myself a language technology educator, just sort of broadly, because that captures a lot of what I do. Industry, I'm a little bit less interested in right now. Size of company, size of teams. That could be interesting. I think this is enough questions for us to work on right now. Activities. Oh, so I think the relationship between the activities and the job titles would be particularly interesting. Job activities. 28. What's your current yearly compensation? Yeah, we all want to know money, right? And I wonder if this has also gone down this year. No, it's 29, right? Because the labor market this year has been a little bit tighter, right? Like there's hiring freezes in a lot of places. So I'm interested to see if that has affected the salary offers. And my guess is they probably went way up in 2019, 2020, 2021 were all pretty good years to be on the job market. 2022, it seems like was a little bit worse. So I would expect it to go up, 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 down. But I'd have to join across a bunch of different survey questions there, and I'm not particularly interested in doing that. Cloud compute stuff. I'm sure the GCP folks are really interested in this. I don't really care. Cloud compute, questions about tools, and product usage. Yep. Every year, this list gets bigger, doesn't it? This is just sort of like MLOps tools. Oh, okay, interesting. Ethical AI products. Interesting. That's the first time I've heard anybody talk about those things as a set of options, right? That like ethical insight is something that you can pay for. I mean, I've definitely like heard about auditing before, but not like automated tools. All right, let's see. I've heard about some of these individual tools. Like I think I've heard about Clarify. I think I've heard about Lyft at some point. Counterfeit, I think I've also heard about at some point. Interesting. Questions on hardware acceleration. Again, I do not care. Ooh, this one I do care about. Who/what are your favorite media sources that report on data science topics? So Twitter, email, Reddit, Kaggle, course forums, YouTube, podcasts, blogs, journal publications, Slack communities, none and other. I think also probably Discord should be on there, given the sort of general rise and utility of those. And I imagine that they are favorite sources for learning. That was 44, right? Given that they are very popular, right? Like a lot of the Stable Diffusion stuff has happened in Discord, and all of the various discussions and stuff that's been going on has come from Discord predominantly. All right, so here's just like the bunch of questions that I came up with while I was doing it. Ravi says, don't use dplyr for Python. dplyr for Python. It is slower than, I'm assuming, this Siuba. And I don't know what that, if I'm saying the title correctly or what it refers to. Siuba. For those of you who are listening. So the sort of the specific questions that I pulled out as being particularly interesting for me are what educational resources, I should clarify this, sources do people try versus what do they find most helpful? Have people done research, and have they done research on machine learning? Years of using machine learning methods, sort of like a proxy for, experience. Although, of course, you can be a data analyst and not use machine learning methods and still be doing data science, right? Particularly if you're doing more statistical modeling, data analytics, econometrics, sabermetrics, anything with metrics in the title, right? Although, I do feel like a lot of folks in that space do tend to use at least some machine learning methods, but you could also do them without it, right? And really rely more on statistical stuff. Which, I mean, like I was saying, I think there's a bias in the platform towards the machine learning engineering applications. And I think that, to be very frank, it probably happens a little bit because there's a lot more money to be made for GCP from people who are building machine learning applications than there are for people who are just doing analytics and may do something one time. And yeah, okay, they may get like a couple hours of GPU time, but if you're running things in production and you're retraining consistently, then you're probably going to spend a lot more on cloud compute, which is how GCP would like to make money. So it makes sense that that's what they're sort of focusing on as a platform. All right. Yeah. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to sort of rank these by how interested in them I am. So I think first off the bat, really interested in these. Very interested. Kind of curious, I think, are the two things here. So one thing is very interested, right? In NLP representations, obviously we care a lot about that on the channel. How many people are doing research and doing it on machine learning and years of using machine learning methods? I think I'm a little bit more on the kind of curious side. Like, I want to know, but I don't necessarily need to do it right off the bat. Favorite sources for learning, I'm very interested, right? And you may notice that I'm tending to do things that are more like directly related to my work and what I'm doing. Surprise. Educational resources people try versus what they found helpful. I think, again, very interested, directly related to my day-to-day work. And then I think all the rest I'm just sort of kind of curious about. The ethical AI products, I think I'm more interested about. Let me write a little bit more here so it's a little bit clearer what I'm working on. I'm more interested in learning about all those products and what they do and what they claim to do than I am about, how quantifying usage for each of them, because I don't have an opinion on the product. So it means that I'm not going to have an opinion on like a set of numbers that a set of numbers. Based on reading through the questions, the survey questions, here are the ones that jumped out at me as the most intriguing. So having done, one sec, can I hide this one? How do I hide this? Hide cell in viewer and hide cell output in viewer. There we go. So when I save a version and render it and make it look all pretty, you won't see my, you know, thing where I read in my libraries and data, that thing that we all do every time. So next up, whoop, so I think I'm most interested in the NLP representations question, and I think what makes sense is to work on creating a little bit of a pipeline that will let us, we can reuse, we can create a function for, will let us extract specifically the data that we need. So I want to select, select if, actually it's been a while since I used this, can I, no, okay. I'm trying to get help up. It's been a while since I used select if, and I don't remember the exact thing, because if we peek at the data, you can see if we have a question with multiple responses, which we definitely do, they will start Q6 or Q number underscore, and then the, the number of the answer in the multiple choice format. So I think it may just be starts with, and then the survey data was specifically, what was it? It was 20. So it would be Q20 uppercase. Does that work? Argument prefix missing with no default. All right, I gotta look it up. Oh, hello. I have absolutely not been seeing the Twitch chat. I'm so sorry. Hey, Razzie. Hey, Gahaku. I apologize for ignoring you. It was not intentional. I opened something else in that same tab and forgot to close it. What am I looking up? Starts with dplyr select if starts with. Get that going. Select variable columns. You start with function. Yes, yes, yes. I just want the select. Yes, yes, yes. Start. Aha! It is like so. Starts with must be used within a selecting function. Oh, I don't need to do select if. Right, because select if requires a Boolean input, and starts with creates the Boolean input for you. So look how easy this was. Once I looked it up and had the correct syntax. So these are all of the. I made a face like I just sucked in dog poop, and it was because the blank is not consistent. So some of them are NA and some of them are NaN, and that's why I made that face. And I caught the side of it off the corner of my eye, and I apologize. Okay, miracle. So I think what I want to do here is that I just want counts for each of these, right? So can I just sum? Will that sum across rows? Just easy peasy and ignore the NAs? Nope. Oh, wait. I think it's call sum. Is it? Let's see. Tis not. Right? They're not numeric. Is it just count? Is it just underscore count all by itself? Yes. Fabulous. Okay. And then I just want to group, one sec. dplyr count each column. Do I need to spread it first? I want to do each column. Yep. Sorry, I'm looking to Stack Overflow in another thing. Group by and group spread. Okay, yep. Oh, hey Goku, sorry. Gahaku, sorry. I am experiencing what we would call, you know, phonological priming from having a high frequency word, well, higher frequency than your name, apologies, that has a different pronunciation, and that is sort of like pulling my pronunciation in the wrong direction. All right, so, okay, when I'm stuck like this, what I like to do is I like to close my eyes and imagine what I want my output to be like, and then to work backwards from there. So I want the count of non-NA or NaN, because it's mixed. The count of non-ANA or NaN values for each row. No, for each column, because I really just want to see how popular each method is. So what I want to do is I think table will kind of work quick and dirty. Yeah. Okay. It's awful though. It's bad. Okay, so I want this to be applied column-wise. I don't think summary will be applied column-wise automatically, no. Oh, their character. Okay, that'll do it. Okay, so I can't count the things because they are character vectors, right? They're not factors, which means that they're just being treated as strings, basically. So I could have any text in any of those rows and it would be treated exactly the same. What I need to do is I need to convert each of them to as a factor. And then I'm gonna try to do a summary. I don't think this is gonna work. What'd I do wrong? Unexpected end. Okay, time to search. Oh, nice. Oh, folks are just looking and listening because they're currently doing data scraping. Oh, nice. Well, I'm glad we could hang out while you do some work. I'm trying to get started with the Kaggle competition. I haven't started the Titanic one yet. That's our classic starting place. Okay, so what I want to do is convert all character columns to factor in R. There we go, top result. But I want to do it in tidyverse. Ugh, the Stack Overflow cookie planner is so aggressive. As data frame. God, I love dplyr. Sorry, so the answer is that dplyr has a built-in function to do this. So no, let's type the correct thing. So what I'm doing here is mutate underscore if. So mutate is gonna change an input column in some way, and here it's going to, if that input column is character class, which you can see all of these are, it will convert them to a factor class, and then I'm going to summarize them, and I should fabulous, I get something helpful. So here I can see for question 20_1, I have 21,000 NAs and 2,000 folks who have used word embeddings, 1,000 people who have used encoder-decoder models, 600 people who have used contextualized embedding, and about 2,000 people who have used transformer language models. Wow. Wow, wow-wee. Sorry, the thing that is surprising to me here is that almost as many people have used transformer language models as have used embeddings. Embeddings I would consider like foundational to modern NLP. Transformer language models I would consider not. I think you can get really far without using transformer language models, but of course they're the hot thing right now. And then we have 126 others. So I actually think... Okay, and then actually, can I do count from here now that it's a factor? Okay, so I basically want the information that I got from summary. Oh, wait. Summary is base R. There's a separate dplyr thing that is summarize. Summarize. Well, I'm just gonna try doing that and see if that gives me what I want. No output. Okay, helpful. Oh, hey, buddy. Kaki says, I watched computer data science streams for a long time and I want to get into computer vision and machine learning material. I mean, if you're really interested in supervised machine learning, Kaggle is a great way to learn that. All right. So, my dog just came in to check on me and make sure I wasn't doing anything interesting and that I didn't have any snacks, and now he's left. As he does. I know there's a way to do this. I know there's a function that I've used to do this before, and I am just trying to remember what it was. Dplyr count of factor values every column. Yep. All right. Gather, group by, count spread. I'm looking at Stack Overflow in another tab, sorry. Is why I'm just sort of staring to the side and making faces. Okay, so we've got these as factors, right? Not gonna work. So what I'm trying to do is summarize by count. So what I want to do is for each column. Sorry, I know I'm making a lot of mouth sounds. That's just what I do when I think. I know there's an extremely simple way to do this, which is the most frustrating thing, because I know that there is a single command that will let me do this, and I just don't remember it. So for each column, I want to count the things that are not NA. Right? Count not NA per column. Because then I want to be able to plot it, right? All right, how do you count total NA values using group by summarize? So summarize, it looks like is the correct function, but I think I need to give it additional information. So let's go to the summarize documentation and start there. Because I'm seeing that come up a lot of times in these sort of answers and discussions, and I'm going to just read the documentation, which is always my preference. Also, summarize with an S and summarize with a Z are synonyms, and I think with an S is the New Zealand / British version. Okay. It will have one or more rows for each combination of grouping variables. If there are no grouping variables, the output will have a single row summarizing all observations in the input. It will contain one column for each grouping variable and one column for each of the summary statistics that you have specified. Okay, so I think what I need to do is, let's look at some examples. N, okay. So I think what I can do is like summarize N. Fabulous. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to group by so grouping is something that you do across columns, right? Let's try with just a single column and see how that does. Oh wait, let's see, group by all. Huh? Aha! La ha ha ha! Okay. Great. This is not the format that I wanted it in, but I am not unhappy about it. The format that I have it in now is that I have the marginal values, right? So for people who answered, you know, yes for all of them and also other, we have 12 people. For people who answered yes for all of them but don't have another one, we have 300 people, etc. So Robbie says, when you plot with dplyr 2 if columns have NA, it automatically skips NA. Yes. Here, let's actually, can I copy? Yeah. Oh, for some reason I thought that would duplicate. It did not. Okay, so let's just show what it looks like if I just plot here. Right, so that's what it looks like if I use just the base R plot. Let's see if I do ggplot. I don't know. I don't think that's gonna work. Yeah, no, that absolutely didn't work. I just tried typing some stuff. Hello, Nicholas. I'm doing okay. I've come to a realization. My realization is this. I'm just looking for the number of people that have used each thing. So I don't care about the margins, right? That's what we've got here. And I will add this margin. So margins, of course, like, you know, like the margins of a table. Marginal NLP techniques. Great. What I do care about is the number of people who have used each thing, and I don't care if there's overlap between my things. So what I want to do is I want to take this data set, this, you know, n-dimensional thing, and I want to make it a one-dimensional thing, right? I want to melt, right? I believe is what that operation is called. And it may have had its name changed recently. I vaguely remember seeing something about that. So let's look up melt dplyr and see how far we go. Melt and cast. All right. The equivalent of melt and cast are gather and spread. So I want to gather. And I want to gather everything. All right. To the docs. Okay. Data key value. I'm just reading the docs now. Names of the new key and value columns as strings or symbols. Factor key. If false, the default, the key values will be stored as a character vector. If true, will be stored as a factor. Rules for selection. Let's look at some examples here. Gather, stocks, price. Okay, so let's try this. And I'm gonna try, I guess, method and count, question mark? I have no idea what the output of this is gonna look like. So let's try and see. All right, okay, helpful. So what we've got here is, right. Okay, so the first thing we wanna do is remove the first row. And actually, we probably want to do that before we change it to a factor because it's adding additional information, right? And I believe we can also do na.rm as true. So let's do that. And then we want to filter -1. Is that going to work? Let's find out. Oh, well, first of all, I said fitler, which is not actually the way it's spelled. There we go. Dplyr, remove first row. How to remove the first row? Yes, that's what I want. Okay, so the command is not actually filter, it is slice. Nice. Okay, this is very helpful. And then from here, we can take this output and do the count. Yeah? No. I want the count by factor. So let's see. Actually, let's just go here and look at the, you know, count. Uncount a data frame. Here we go. Count is what I'm interested in. Oh, tally. I think tally is actually what I'm interested in. Count species. I'm looking for what tally looks like. So if I just do tally here, will that work? No. Okay, so we're gonna count, and the thing that we're gonna count is the column n that was created when we gathered, except I think believe it needs to be in, oh, no, it's count. So I'm continuing to get outputs that just tell me how much information, how many observational units I have, which is not actually what I want. Okay, so what I can do is actually let's look at the output right now. Count is the thing that we are interested in questioning. Let's actually rename these. So the first column is actually the question. Oop, I've got uncertain. question number. We use NO as a shortening for number, and then the second one is the value. So what I'm actually interested in doing is I want to count by the... Actually, no, I don't need to do anything now. I can just plot from here. I don't need to do any other thing. I think ggplot will just take care of it. So let's do ggplot. And then the aesthetic we're gonna do is X is gonna be value. And then we're gonna do geom bar. So this should give me a bar plot. It did give me a bar plot. It gave me a bar plot, just told me how many things I have in my thing. Okay, so first we're gonna group by value, and then we're gonna do it. So then we should be able to handle all the values of groups separately, yes? No. To the documentation again. Rosie says to the docks, as in to the into the caves from Lord of the Rings. Yes, or to the Bat Cave from Batman. All right, let's see. The good news is once we have this pipeline done, we can just pop, stick them all in there and get the same output really nice and easy. Dry, right? Only make your mistakes once. Don't repeat yourself is what dry stands for. What am I looking for? ggplot to bar plot. How many times have I made one of these? Many. many. Do I always remember the syntax off the top of my head? Well, sometimes. All right. All right, and then stat equals identity t. No, that doesn't work. So I've got this open in the next tab. This is from our graph gallery. Geom bar, specify the data object. It has to be a data frame. It needs one numeric and one categorical value. Okay, so we actually do need to do the step that I was thinking about. Never mind, I thought we could just send it to be plotted and it would be plotted, and not the case. So I'm gonna comment out those two lines, we can come back to them later. All right, so here's what I got. Yeah, and then from here, I want the count. Can I just say the count of the values? Is that gonna work? Nice, okay. And then from there, it's all coming back to me, slowly but surely. Get that there, get that here, fabulous. Except I was actually interested in, what are the names? So it is value and then n. Cool. Neat. Unreadable, but it works. Okay, fabulous. And then I think we need to reorder the factors, I believe. So I'm just gonna do this and another thing and just look at what these values are. So, right, okay, so that really big thing is NaN. And then we also have some things that are none and then some things that are other. So I am going to remove the NaN because that is Na and has just been reproduced differently. Razzie says, the plot thickens. Yes, I think once we remove this, we'll actually be able to read things. I think that bar is too thick. All right, so the next thing that we need to do is from here, we need to remove some rows. So I specifically think we want to filter subset of a data frame retaining all rows that satisfy your conditions does not equal NaN. And I think we can get rid of none as well. Oh, right. I have to say which column that's in. Fabulous. Okay, so here we have our raw counts. Let's just stick them in here. Let's fix our pipes so that they are in the right place, not the wrong place. Great. Unreadable, but still pretty good. So this one here, the short one is contextualized word embeddings. The bigger one is sequence to sequence models. The very small one is other. This one is transformers. And then the very slightly taller than the transformers one are embeddings. So I think what I actually want to do at this point is I want to rename the factor. Right, so dplyr rename factor levels. Oh, maybe it's not factor levels. So I mean, I'm looking at here and I'm thinking right now, like, are these, because they're characters. No, I did make them factors, so they should be factor levels. Yes. Okay, so it's, okay, so now we have this bit. So this is going to be unique here, right? So the renaming is going to be different for every, the renaming is going to be different for everything that we talk about. So at this point, we can't reuse this code next time because each of the questions has different answers. Rosie says, why is the graph showing us the finger? Oh yeah, the last one that the NA was very wrong on account of Jim messed up. Did not remove the correct values. All right, so we are gonna first we're gonna spell things correctly and not wrong. Here we go. Recode factor, and the factor is gonna be value, right? And then I'm just gonna rename the things. So oh, is that gonna work? I do not know that that is gonna work. And we're in a oh, let's show spaces. We're in yeah, I should have spaces. Yeah. Does that work? Well, it won't if we have a code error. Object value not found. Right? Oh, okay. So we've trained it so it's no longer a factor at this point, I don't think. So what I should probably do is rename, replace row value dplyr. How to replace multiple values using dplyr. That is what I want to know. Okay, so I should be able to just do something like mutate, and then the specific thing that I want is actually value, and then I should be able to... I don't know if you can hear my dog. He's very loud. He's upset about something, and he can tell me about it later. Yeah, I'm copying syntax from somewhere else. Believe me when I tell you I do not know this off the top of my head. I don't think anyone was in danger of thinking that. All right, let's see if this works. It worked. Yay. So we can do this for everything that we want to rename. What should we call this? I don't know. This is kind of a weird two things to put together. I thought I was the only one who just forgets how code/syntax works. Nah, that's like, you don't always need it, right? So you just like, your brain shuffles it elsewhere. Until it's needed is how I tend to think about it. Okay, and then for these, I'm just going to call these LLMs because that's what people call them, unless they're from Berkeley and trying to be a little bit pretentious, and they call them foundation models. I don't use that, and I don't think most people do. And then for this one, I would just say word embeddings. Actually, I think I'm just going to say embeddings here because it doesn't have to be words. Is that gonna work? We'll find out. All right. And then from here, I will do this and see how that works. Nice, much better. Okay, so the thing that was like, is this gonna work, is in contextual embeddings, I put a new line, and it sure enough did work. So I'm actually gonna do that in here as well, just so it looks a little bit nicer. Very nice, very nice. And then, yeah, let's just do a theme. What am I thinking for themes? Just, yeah, like a little pretty, a little prettier. Let's see. ggplot 2 themes. I remember liking the Economist theme last time I looked at it. Let's see. It is basic, but that's what I like about it. Let's see. Ooh, what about theme void? I think it's a separate library that has all the fancier ones in it. That doesn't work for this data set, but it does look pretty good. Okay, gray is the default, black and white, line draw, light. Complete themes, yeah, that's them. ggplot economist theme. Can you all hear him? He's going like, wah, wah. which is what he does when he feels like his needs are not immediately being, you know, things. Oh, that's right. James says Stanfordians call them foundational models too, presumably because of the multiple task pattern. Yeah, actually, I think it did come from Stanford, now that I think about it, but also I hear people from Berkeley doing it. I don't know. I feel like those two He's so loud. Hopefully the mic's not picking it up. Hopefully those... I forget what I was saying. Anyway. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so it's theme underscore economist. It is not in GG themes. Economist. Make it pretty. No! All right, is there a library for this? Sure is. Nah? That's worse. That doesn't look good. I didn't get an error. Situations like this is when I really miss the sort of like going back to the plots thing that our studio has where my head should be now. James says, for example, this LLM also plays Atari 2600 games. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. My general sort of ethos is that I am most delighted by and find most useful technology that has a narrow use and solves a specific problem, and that very general technology I think is appealing to companies because it creates a big walled garden, but for me as a consumer and producer, I tend not to like it as much. Yep. Oh, good. James says the doggy's quiet for us. He does not need treats. He's had plenty of treats. Today, even. GG themes. Oh, okay. Well, so yes, that would do it. So the thing that didn't work is, in fact, that I had loaded in the library in here. There we go. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then I actually only need to load it in once. I don't know why I put it in there. Anyway, I'm tired. I don't know if you can tell. All right, fabulous. So we have here this, and I could sort it, but as I remember sorting sort bar chart in dplyr 2, as I remember, you have to reorder the factors. I might as well do it, right? Yes. You sure do. Okay. But there is I might as well do it, right? X equals value. Reorder. Value. Is that gonna work? I don't think it's gonna work. No, sure doesn't. But I don't care that much. So here we have the most popular methods. Keeping in mind that this represents less than 10% of all the participants, and also that this is more on the machine learning engineering side. Here we have the most popular methods. So embeddings, encoders, decoders, contextual embeddings, in order from most popular to least popular. Embeddings, generally, large language models, encoder, decoder models, including vanilla transformers, contextual embeddings, and then other. Well, that was most used methods. Sorry, it's actually methods by number of respondents who had used them. Okay, and then actually the other thing that I was interested in here was, is there a text Or does it just say other? I'm wondering if I can find out what the others are. No is the answer. Okay, so it just says other, which is not the most helpful thing, but let's add a markdown cell here. Most used methods. And then the next thing I want to find out is, actually, I think this is a more specific question. So can I make it go down? Can I click and drag? Okay, I made it smaller. Aha! Little button. No, button just expands it. View, edit, move cell down. That didn't do it. It is clicked. I'm clicking on edit. I'm moving the cell down. It did do it. Yay! All right. With that, I think that we can ask our second question. He's so loud. Oh, sweet dog. I can convert this to markdown. And then our second question is preferred learning materials is the next thing I really wanted to learn about. And that was question 44. And I think this is probably the last one that we are gonna work on today because it's getting to be a little bit later on. Okay, so I can use some of this. I can use all of this. Oh, it's bad. I can use all of this, but it is not good to look at with the eyes. So let's look at this first of all and see if there's another exciting way to write NA. No. Okay. And then the next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to grab this little cutie patootie right here and use it to rename some of these things because they are currently unreadable. All right, so I'm the range of value, and then it's the two of these so we don't get an error. All right, so we're going to do this one. Blogs. And this one. I could probably do this programmatically. No, because I don't just want the thing is I don't just want to remove the, like here, I don't just want this to say email newsletters, I just want it to say newsletters because who is mailing you a newsletter? To me, that is unambiguous. So I want it to be as short as possible to make graph good, right? And here I would just call this like papers or research papers. What's harder than making things spell consistent? Nothing. Hate it. And when I say that, I mean for me in particular, and it's the worst. It's not the worst. There are worse things in my life, but consistently trying to spell things is very, very tiring. I don't know if you can tell like how much my brain energy is going over the course of this, but It sure is. This isn't as bad. Coding is not quite as bad as writing text for me, but it does use up a lot of the same. Podcats. A lot of the same mental faculties. Oh, speaking of my disabilities, because COVID has meant that a lot more people have sensory disabilities with scent, there has been a lot more research on assistive technology for it. So I may be able to, like, you know, use it at some point and be able to smell things again. I mean, I can smell some things, but I would say that, you know, 98% of the time, just going through my life, yeah, maybe more than that, I just don't smell anything. Which you would think is like, oh, it's cool, you don't smell garbage or anything. But yeah, I also don't smell if, like, food is spoiled or something is burning or there's a gas leak. Which is, you may appreciate, kind of an issue. Twitter, probably the main place that I get news. I would not go on r/machine learning if you paid me. Well, don't know how much you pay me. But it's certainly not my favorite place in the world. Robbie says, supposing you have 100 levels, renaming is very difficult. Yes, but if I had 100 levels, I would never put them on the same chart, right? And all of these things I want to see on the same chart, which is why I'm renaming them, so that it is seeable on the chart. Yeah, and I think I probably could do this programmatically. I think, you know, you could probably do some rules to try and figure out, like, yeah, but like journal publications to research, that's not clear that that should happen. So, and you know, creating good charts is the handcrafting part of people. The handcrafting part of you know, doing data science. Because they gotta look good, right? You're communicating something specific, and it's up to you to make sure that the specific thing works. And here, I think I do actually want to reorder. I think I do actually care. Yeah, but I don't always want the R indexes for one. But I don't always want the. This is for Tom. I don't always just want the first word, right? So like. For example, course forums, I care about course and forums, right? Or for journal publications, I just rewrote that as research. And like for Slack communities, I might actually, I think this should probably also include Discord communities, and I don't, you know, they didn't in the question, so I'm not going to edit the question in a way that would be unhelpful for people, but. I am not using pandas. I'm using R. We're using a whole different language. Yeah. Robbie says, do I have a spelling problem or do I have COVID? I have not had COVID. I had a nerve damage as a child. I got hit in the face really hard. And as a result, I have a reduced sense of smell. And also, I have a sneaking suspicion that a lot of my experiences of smell are different from other people's. Like, things that I think smell and taste exactly the same, most people don't, right? So for me, soy sauce and cold coffee smell the same, which I think is not the case for most people, right? Or like ginger and nutmeg, in like a weak quantity, to me, I can't tell the difference between them. They taste the same. Also pineapple, to me, those sort of like taste the same. Not like, if you hand me a slice of pineapple, I'm not gonna be like, oh, ginger, yum. But if you have like something that's ginger or pineapple flavored and it's not very strongly flavored, I can't tell the difference. Yes, so I've had nerve damage, and I think unfortunately a lot of the sort of discussion of folks, you know, having issues with COVID, it's also probably like brain nerve related. Yeah. Yeah. I knew someone at university with anosmia. Yeah, I don't have anosmia, I have hyposmia, so I have some residual sense of smell. Thankfully, if I have anosmia, my life would probably not be as good. Particularly like for enjoyment of food, but yeah. It's one of those disabilities that people just like do not think or care about usually, and unfortunately, it's become very common. And I wish that it hadn't. It affects your quality of life. So yeah, this I do want to order because I think that would be helpful. So we've got YouTube, Kaggle, blogs, and then sort of on par, course forums, newsletters, research, and Twitter. And then beyond that, Reddit, and then podcasts, and then Slack, and then other. So I am going to reorder this one. Hello, Dooming. Oh, from China. Well, welcome, welcome. All right, let's look up the reordering. Okay, so I should be able to do reorder value. I'm gonna do a little lambda. Here they're saying length of X, but I don't think length is gonna work. It might work, because I think technically longer. I think that's right. No, okay. Actually, maybe I can just do that, right? Because I don't need. Do I need to specify? So the data structure I have, let me get you all on the same order with me. I'm trying to reorder, it's sort. Hold on, I think I remember something. I think I'm making something that should be very easy, very hard. One sec. dplyr sort. Sorting. Yes. I want to sort it. Tom says, I don't know about the $ less than $ operator in R. It's kind of Haskell-y. Yeah, they are pipes. I believe Haskell is also pretty functional. The sort of like pipe paradigm in R, these are called pipes for those of you who don't know, is, very functional. Yes. Sort function or sort. Hi, bud. Yeah. Do you want to come say hi? Yeah? Can we come here? You want to hop up? You're just gonna bother me. Sorry, my dog's come in. He's decided to stop whining wherever he was whining. Arrange. That's right. That didn't work. Oh, right. Because I arranged alphabetically. Yes. Okay. Does this affect this? Let's find out. I'm going to remove this bit with the reordering, because that's what we're trying to replace in a different way. I don't remember if it does or not. Sure don't. Okay, yeah, I do need to reorder the level of the yes. I do need to reorder the levels of the factor. What is a pipe operator? Great question. So the pipe operator is this, and what it does is it takes whatever is to, well, this one, right, with that direction, takes whatever is to the left of it and passes it to the right. Speaking of dyslexia, so it takes whatever's to the left of it and passes it to the right as the first argument of the next function. So usually with select, you'd say select data frame and then information about the data frame, but here this has been explicitly passed as the first argument of the function. So if you know the dot syntax, this says like, hey, whatever was passed in, this is going to go here in this argument, right? So the output of this is the input of this, the output of this is the input of this. If that makes sense. Can you see my cursor? You can't see my cursor. So the output of this becomes the input of this. The output of this because the input of this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a way of chaining functions together. And again, very, very functional, not super object-y. Yep. Tom says, can you start with Q44 survey data, or do you write select starts with, I didn't think R did currying. I don't know what currying is. So the fact that I don't have to put the survey data in here, so it should, here. Can I get the help? Get me the help. Oh, I just saw it. Help. Wherever. No. Let's see. Select. Are you? Oh, that's right. I'm in ggplot too. I'm just gonna grab the thing to tier. Okay, so the syntax is select data and then additional arguments. So the data frame is the by default, whatever's passed out of the pipe is passed as the first argument for the next thing. I can specify where it is by using the dot operator. Yes, it is a pipe. Yes, that's what they're called. It's represented using this visual syntax. There are other options. That's just sort of the most common one used in the tidyverse community. Yeah, of course, Prom. I'm a big fan of R for, particularly like when I reach for this tool, it is for this type of task when I'm just like with the data. All right, so I need to reorder. So the arranging here does nothing. That just changes the visual value. It does not change the order of the factors. These are in. Okay, so I think what I need to do here is mutate, reorder, will that work? Tom says currying is treating functions with two arguments as a function that returns a function taking an argument. I.e. fxy, f of x, y. That may be possible. I don't think that's what the pipes are doing. You might want to ask somebody who knows more about R internals about that. It's a trick that makes functional stuff a little bit simpler. Bobby says no. I will say, I have many degrees. None of them are in computer science. Too many degrees, some people might say. Not that anyone should care. No, I think it's interesting. Just not something that I know that much about. Do I? Not in reach. I was going to grab my quick copy of Advanced R and see if it's discussed in there, because I think that's probably where I would point you. But I don't have it nearby. Do I? I don't. I thought I might have stuck it in a drawer, but I did not. I think I put it back on my bookshelf downstairs. Oh, what are we doing? What are we doing? R reorder factor dplyr. Yes. Helpful. Natural level. R reorder factor by value. I'm just looking up things in another window. Yeah, I think I specifically need to order the factor because that's what's causing the data to show up in the order that it is. Oh, interesting. Tom says, I don't think it's an R, but it's what people are using in Haskell for similar sort of things instead of the dot operator that you were using. Interesting. I think, okay, so I think what I can do is I can mutate question number. I want to do it by reordering question number, right? Generic function. The default method treats its first argument as a categorical variable and reorders its levels based on the values of the second variable. Okay, so if that's the default, I may actually be able to do it after I get my count. Let's see. Is this going to work? Area mutate. Problem with computing object question number, not. Oh, there was a typo. Object question number not found. What does the data look like at this point? It's no longer called question number, now it's called value. Okay, so it should be value by n. All right, let's see if this works. We done it. Excellent. Good work, everybody. All right, now I can get rid of this. There we go. That looks good. Much better. Actually, I think if I do this, I can shift the order. There we go. Fabulous. That's exactly what I wanted. Looks great. The only thing I do want to do is I want to add that economist style that we were using. Okay. Yep, fabulous. All right. Delete you. And actually, because that was, we could do that. We can actually do this up here. Minimal fuss. Not an issue. That should fix that. Sure it did. Fantastic. We love to see it. Just gonna pop this in here. Oh, there we go. Oh no. Okay. Issue is that there's too many things and they're slightly too big. So I need to tilt or ggplot to another thing I always have to look up. Tilt axis labels. How to rotate axis labels in ggplot2. It's exactly what I want. I'm just gonna go boop a little bit. Here we go. Blah 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 blah. Yes yes yes. I just want a little bit of tilt. Is you a little bit. Okay. And okay, fabulous. So this should work, and what this is going to do, I don't know how this is going to interact with the other theme, but this is just going to angle the text at 45 degrees and then scooch it down just a teeny bit. Too much scooch down. Still too much scooch down. Still too much scooch down. Actually, do I need to scooch it down? Oh, I need to scooch it up. Nice. And I'm actually going to do just a little bit higher. Teeny bit higher. That looks pretty good. Yeah? Except I actually want it the other way. So if... That's too much. Okay. So that's 45. That's 0. I actually need to do 360 minus 45, which is 315. Rachel, that was simple arithmetic. Yeah, I know. That's why we have computers. It's in the name. That okay, now we're gonna judge it down just a bit. Yeah. Nice. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty easy to read. And I think it's just GG title. Yeah. Fave or preferred. Or what was it? Enjoyed? Let me see. What was the specific text to the question? Oh. Hold up. I can do this programmatically. No, I can't. Never mind. I could, but it would be why didn't that autocomplete? It should, so from hitting tab here, I should get a list of things that, well, not right, of things that complete that, and my guess is that it just wasn't tested. Favorite media sources. Oh my god, let's just get rid of this. This is way too big. Favorite ML media sources. There we go. Now let's capitalize this. Nice. All right, and let's add a title to this first one as well. And actually, I'm going to hide this because I don't think we actually need it. Let's do a GG title. Which NLP? I don't really feel like it's a technique, maybe? Like I talked about, I'm not a huge fan of the way this question was phrased, but again, not my question. All right, so let's save a version. Hey, Mikhail, welcome. Robbie says Haskell is dead now. I mean, at least one person here uses Haskell. I don't know. I think a lot of people say a lot of things about, you know, computer languages dying, but I think I've mentioned this before. My mom still gets calls about code she wrote well before I existed. You know, yeah, that is in, you know, COBOL and Fortran. It's still used. They certainly may not be quite as popular, but that doesn't mean they go away. They linger like ghosts. End of live stream 10:18. All right. So at this point, we should have a cool little version of our code that we can look at, and it'll have 2 charts, which honestly I feel like is fine. That is a reasonable thing to get. Tom says Haskell is where CS grads go to get their PhDs. All right. I'm pretty happy with this. I feel like it is interesting and helpful. Also, it certainly makes me feel good that people are coming to YouTube for their machine learning media sources as someone who is doing YouTube. Yeah. All right. Can I open it in a new tab? Let's see. What's it look like? And most used methods. We got some warning messages. I don't care. Okay, so which NLP techniques used? This could be better said, but I don't have it in me. And then preferred learning materials question. Here we go. So I'd say it's, you know what? That's a pretty good chart. I'm pretty happy with that. We didn't do a whole bunch of marginal stuff, but that's okay. Yeah, I got to do a little bit of, let's see, I'll make this public as well. Can I do that? Not public by default, surely. Yeah, it's private. Okay, how do I make this public in case people would like to see it? And then I can give the, here we go. I can give y'all public. Apache 2.0, perfectly fine with that. I have no idea what tags would make sense. All right. And I'll pop this in the chat in case you want to check it out and keep working on what I've been working on. There we go. I'm gonna try to make sure that works. Yep, that works. All right, so that's about what I have for today. And clearly it's lunchtime. That's what my dog's been telling me for a while now. So thank you very much for joining today. I hope you found this interesting, helpful. I don't really know what we're going to be doing next Tuesday. So for those of you who are newer here, every Tuesday I do a deep dive on a specific topic. And then on Thursday we do like a sort of like a news chit chat, research papers, stuff in review. I've had a couple things I've been sort of thinking about. So I've been sort of thinking about doing like a intro to Julia thing where I learn about Julia because I've been hearing a lot about it. This Siuba package also sounds really interesting. So we might, spend some time playing around with that potentially in a future live stream. I don't know. I got some different things. I do have some like stuff that I'd like to work on my own, but I am at, I'm at capacity right now and I'm not taking on more projects. I'm telling myself that so that I know it for the future and I abide by it. Yeah, so I will see you, next Tuesday, same time, next Thursday, same time, this Thursday, not next Thursday. And before we head out, I do want to say a big thank you. Oh, I'm not there. Well, I'm still here. The camera's just not working. A big thank you to my coffee supporters who helped make this possible, especially Ryan W., who is my newest supporter. Thank you very much, Ryan. I really appreciate you. And thank you to all of you for watching. I really appreciate y'all as well. So have a great couple days. I'll see you on Thursday. Oh, and I should say, if you want the links to everything that we talk about on Thursday, those are available to all of my monthly coffee supporters as a little thank you for their support. So, hopefully this was enjoyable. I learned some things, which I really enjoyed. When will I upload a Julia tutorial? No idea. I'm making no promises. Good to see you all, player. And I will see you all very soon. Have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.